Hey guys, before today's episode, I want to give a big shout out to the guys who made this episode possible. Upload Media Group. Located right in the heart of Cedar Rapids, they host the Confused Breakfast podcast along with several other shows in the area. This company has been heavily involved in the rise of the podcast front in Iowa, and there's nobody else that I'd pick to record a podcast with when I'm visiting the homies who are just chilling in Cedar Rapids. So, if you need something recorded or just want to check out some cool local content, check them out at their website at uploadmediagroup.com. That's www.uploadmediagroup.com. Stutterbox Productions is a backbone for many of the events that you see in the Midwest, from EDM festivals to late-night hip-hop shows. This company has been working closely with this podcast since the beginning, and we always have plenty of things planned for the future. So, if you're looking to plan your next Get Gear event, head over to their Facebook page to learn more today. What's up? This is the McAllister's podcast. I'm your host, Cole McAllister. We have a super special guest today. A member of indisputably the best Iowa podcast. I mean, as much as I like to give myself credit, this isn't any comparison. Sean Pryor from the Confused Breakfast podcast. It's an honor to finally meet you, man. How you doing today?
Great to meet you too, man. Yeah, I'm doing really good. I just got off work, so
hell yeah.
I'm definitely doing better than that.
Yeah, I hope like a podcast is a good way to kind of like, decharge from a work day.
You know, I drive for a living, and I drove yesterday maybe 10, 11 hours to Sioux City.
Oh, and hey, that was kind of my neck in the woods, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Northwest, Orange City. Have you ever heard of it? It's a cult town, like 45 minutes south of Sioux City, but it's in that Northwest Iowa neck of the woods.
It seems like where the oil barons are in California. That's what it looks like sometimes. I don't know, but like it does seem like a kind of a cool, cultured city. I mean, obviously, just been to one place there.
Yeah,
but after hours and hours of driving, it's nice to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I bet. So let me ask you first. Obviously, you're from the Confused Breakfast. We only have a third of the group today, but that's okay. We got maybe the best. No, I don't know, man. No, I don't mean to rank you guys. But tell me about like what was the inception of this show, and tell us about that.
The show Confused Breakfast was kind of born out of like a lot of things. COVID. I'm not sure like if that kind of started your show as well.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
just like everyone's just in a glut of creativity.
Yeah, it was the train to hop on for sure.
Yeah, and AJ and I had been doing podcasts before 2020, and it was a podcast called I'm Super Stoked, and we just talked about stuff we were excited about. I had a section called Pryor's Picks where I just told people about the movies that I had watched, and we had guests on, and Mike Schulte was a guest like 3 times, and on that show we kind of ranked our favorite movies of like favorite movies that we cry to, or favorite music movies, and so he was on a couple shows like that, and then the pandemic hit, and Mike hit us up, and he's like, I want to do a podcast about movies, and I want you guys to do it. And just because we had this rapport, of him being on our show talking about movies, we clicked on liking The Big Lebowski a lot and Days of Confused. Like we knew we had this sort of similar taste, and we just kind of started. We had the outline of like what we wanted to do, like go by scene of the movie, and I wanted it to just be like kind of more of an off the cuff. Like, I'm not going to give you what I'm going to say. We're just going to have a natural conversation and watch the movies, tell some jokes. And so that's kind of what it turned into. And I remember recording the first one we did, Hocus Pocus. And just like right after feeling like, okay, we got it. I think we got it. Like, it was just a kind of a good flow. We knew we had obviously, like I said, a good rapport. But then we did Beetlejuice right after that. And like it was just, the ball started rolling. And here we are today, and it's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I think, and you kind of touched on this when you were talking about like one of the elements of your show that's so great is, you come across a lot of those like, movie critique type of things, and they all seem very like, square, like very formal, like, these type of boxes. Whereas you guys, I mean, it's
apparent that you're friends and that you're hanging out and you're literally just talking movies. And I think that's what makes you guys so successful. As a lot of these, review type shows, like, it's like it's more like they're talking, like speaking an essay that they wrote out versus just, bullshitting about movies. So I think that attests to, why you guys are so successful. Part of why you're so successful. So,
well, thanks, man. Yeah, I do like shows like that too. But I, kind of the more essay kind of things because I'm into AJ and Mike are more into like the more mainstream movies. I'm more into like, like the underground shit, and I tell them about it sometimes. Awesome. So I am probably more of the snob of the group.
Well, I got the right member on the podcast then because cool. I am a film prick at heart, 100%. Right. I'm the guy. Every time my girlfriend shows me a movie, I only like it about 3% of the time.
I've seen some of your reviews. Like if you post like just a random review of like a movie on Facebook, I'm like, Coleman, what are we doing here? Really? You think that? No, it's okay though. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's a sign of a true film guy, right?
Yeah.
Like so let me ask you this, like since you're kind of more in that underground film world, like what are some of your like, underground artsy favorite type of films that come to mind?
Yeah, I like a lot of David Lynch. You could say like he's a little more mainstream than underground can be, but like I think the greatest era of movies was the 70s, and so I like a lot of crime movies from the 70s. Like I just watched a movie for like the 5th time, Straight Time with Dustin Hoffman.
Haven't seen that one.
It's like you've seen Reservoir Dogs, right?
Yeah.
The guy, Mr. Blue, his name is Eddie Bunker in real life, and he wrote a book, and this was the movie that was based off the book. Because he used to be an actual criminal.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like, he consulted on Reservoir Dogs as well as being in it about the crime world and life. And I believe he consulted on Heat as well. But I think it's Dustin Hoffman's best movie, and it's just extremely underrated.
Sorry, what was it called again?
Straight Time.
Straight Time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to add that.
A lot of car movies too, like from the 70s. Two Lane Blacktop. Crazy Larry, something Mary. I forget what that is, but and like the cheesy 80s Maximum Overdrive, Stephen King, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
What's kind of your barometer of?
So it's kind of funny you mentioned Lynch because I think he's severely overrated.
I think that's why I mentioned it, because I think that was one of your posts.
Yeah, Eraserhead. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's okay. I get it. I get why people like it. The problem with Lynch is, okay, like if you look at Lynch's paintings, like he is obvious that he's a brilliant visual artist. Like, and you see in his movies, you see like Eraserhead has some like amazing visuals, but the plot just isn't there. And I think I heard him talk about how he makes a movie once, and what he did is he says, I just write a scene on a note card, I put all the note cards together, and that's a movie. And I saw that, I'm like, but that's not a movie. It's a series of scenes.
You have to have this, you have to have that.
Exactly. Like I'm like, I've done screenwriting, so like
cool.
I'm very like, the story has to have some kind of winding way about it. It has to connect in some way. I think, like Blue Velvet's probably his best film in my opinion.
It's probably his most accessible for sure.
Yeah.
I probably agree with you that it's his best too, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, Dennis Hopper. Mm-hmm. Dennis Hopper, it was a great film on, in itself, but he just fucking made that. His performance is just insane.
I think it's
film.
Maybe the greatest villain performance of all time, just of how like stacked it is, because then you see him in, I'm sure there's a VHS of it over there somewhere. Speed.
Yes, I loved you guys' review on that.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's. He's just so crazy in that, and I think like someone like Lynch can rein that in a little bit in with Blue Velvet, but also let him just go,
Yep. Yeah.
And I think he did. I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm a huge Tarantino fan.
Oh, right.
I'm a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan.
Same.
He's like the Kubrick of our generation in terms of just like his ability to take a time period similar to what Kubrick did and like just make it so real and full of life, and like you feel like you're in it. And not only that, there's symbolism, There Will Be Blood, it talks about like the themes like capitalism and like, family relationships and how that, muddies the waters in that sense. Like, Paul Thomas Anderson's brilliant. David Lynch, or not David Lynch, David Lynch, but David Fincher is also very brilliant. Fight Club. I mean, have you guys done a review on that Fight Club?
We are going to this year, I believe.
Okay.
So sometime. I know we're all huge fans of it. So
okay, and this kind of leads into my other point. This is kind of just like because your podcast, the Confused Breakfast podcast, you guys focus on very like a select time period, like a very select type of film, like as Mike describes it, like going down the blockbuster and like, picking a movie, like those type of movies, which is great. But I've always wondered, like, is there a possibility if you guys ever do movies from like the 30s or the 40s, or do like a more like artsy type of? Because I think that'd be really interesting hearing that from you guys.
Well, thank you. I think that's a good question. I would love to, for sure. Like I said, like I'm more of the snobby one.
Sure.
Sometimes I'll bring up movies, like reference movies in our episodes, be like, oh yeah, this is from Out of the Past with Robert Mitchum. I'm like, what? And which is fine. Like it's totally fine, or, like I'll say that this director kind of wanted to do this, like he wanted to have the language in this movie kind of be like, oh my God, what's the movie I'm thinking of? Kind of like a fast talking movie like they used to do in the 30s. There's one that comes to mind. I can't fucking think of it. But so I'm more of that guy, and we're gonna run out of movies in like at least 80s and 90s movies in like 90 years. So maybe after 90 years, I don't know. Hopefully though, hopefully it's maybe like in Halloween we'll do like Frankenstein or something, some shit like that. Hopefully, I will pull for it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, put my word in. Say, hey, McAllister Hour says you should do this. So
you got it, buddy.
You should do it. No, I wanted to ask you this though. Also, like with because you deal with a lot. Again, with the time period of films that you deal with, how does that influence your perspective on the type of movies that are being made now? I know you guys did a review of Top Gun Maverick. I didn't see it. There's like there's the big budget. Everybody knows the big budget Marvel superhero type of movies. How do you think those compare to like the type of movies you guys study, or like I don't know, or what? I guess what do you think about the media as a whole, what film industry as a whole, where it's going?
I do have some opinions on this.
Sure.
I think in my opinion, the Marvel like cinematic universe is probably coming to an end here soon. I think people are getting to be tired of it. I think they're kind of running out of ideas. They're kind of running out of the vibe they want to go for, because it used to be like this almost Spielbergian, wonder of like superheroes, like, wow, it's Iron Man doing cool shit. And then we brought in Taika Waititi, who did the Thor movies, or started with Thor Ragnarok, and brought in the comedy. And then, well, I guess Guardians was kind of before that. And I think people are getting tired of that. And in my opinion, I hope.
Yeah. Same.
I really do think that in my opinion, I want to see original content. I want to see the new weird fucking movie from Robert Eggers, or even Robert Eggers doing a Marvel movie,
right?
Something like that. Like get some weird shit going on. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a snob, but maybe make it more adult. Maybe like Harry Potter, you kind of grew up with that. It got darker.
Yeah.
Maybe make it kind of like that. I don't know.
I agree. Well, like the thing about like superhero movies, the thing comes to mind is Sin City.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez. That, I mean, maybe not quote unquote superhero film, but it was a graphic novel. It definitely had those elements. Or like, look at the new Batman movie that just came out. That was very, I mean, talk about superheroes for a minute, like Batman. I mean, that's the character that has always always changed the landscape of superhero films. I mean, Dark Knight did. I mean, this Batman, however you felt about that Batman movie that just came out, it was new. It was different. If you compare it to like Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, it has a very different vibe. It has more of that like, that crime noir, like that like Seven almost type of vibe to it. Like I do agree with you. I do think that superhero films are going on the wayside. I hope on the way out, they go more towards that darker, that Batman. Because then, there's a chance for that to stay alive, if we have that. And, also like new ideas. We just had the young creatives in here. They're working on their own superhero movie.
Cool.
They're finishing it up. They have been working on it. And, they were kind of talking about that, like, let's have some new ideas. Let's have some new areas. Let's, because I think the genre could be revitalized, could continue if we just had new ideas. But the problem is we have these suits that, we want these, established characters that have been around for 100, 150 years to keep doing it for some reason. I hope that the audience is able to have a big enough voice. I think the audience will either have a voice and it'll change or it'll die out.
Right. Yeah, and it's a good point with the Batman too. I was thinking about that the other day, where you're right. It is like kind of the ultimate superhero, because every incarnation of that character that comes out is unique, and there's a unique take to it. I think you're right as well, saying that these suits who are kind of pretty much controlling what goes into these movies. Obviously, they want to make money. Definitely get that, but they're just so safe, and they're so bloated. It seems. I have a problem with Netflix movies as well, where they all have to be 2 hours long. I don't get it. Like this one movie I watched, whatever movie, could have definitely been like an hour and 30, hour and 25,
Easily.
And then it would have been good. And I kind of would have liked it. There's that Pale Blue Eye movie with Christian Bale. There's Edgar Allan Poe. Really cool filmmaker behind it too. And it's just like so goddamn boring. Like this could have been an hour and 30 minutes and we would have been fine. I think it's the kind of same trouble that Marvel movies are having. Unfortunately, I guess.
Do you think there's a reason behind that? Why studios are making these like more dragged out, longer things, or do you think it's just them thinking that's going to be what works? Like, do you think that there's like a reason why? Is there some reason to think that maybe audiences want that? I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's a combination of the studio wanting to fill time at theaters, because I know. They do take up a lot of theaters, and also taking up slots of time is very important. That just means more people can come see it, and they know that these people are going to come see it. And so I think it's that they want to fill time, mixed with the artists making the movie, like the directors and the writers, having free reign to just do a 2 hour long movie. Who wouldn't want to be like, okay, I have this story, but all they were told when they were coming up as directors was shorten that. Like you need to cut that down, And now they're not. Now they're saying build that up.
Yeah.
Add more time to that. I think it's a combination between those two things, as well as the audience just being like, it's Guardians. I'll go see it.
Have you ever thought about doing anything with film? Like acting, or have you done that in the past?
Yeah, I've made a few short films.
Okay.
And honestly, that is the goal, is to make movies. I write almost every day.
Okay.
Just like ideas, short films, screenplays. And then it's just like getting people together to do it and having the time to do it. But, when you're younger, you have like a minimum wage job, you don't really give a shit. You're a weekend warrior playing in bands and making movies on the weekends, you know?
Yeah.
So we did that a lot. We have, you can go see them on YouTube. You can check them out. And we did a lot of music videos as well. But yeah, people have asked me that from the podcast too, where it's just like, are you trying to make movies? And like, yeah, I am. Definitely. That has been my dream since I saw Reservoir Dogs.
That'd be awesome. A confused breakfast movie. Do like a Bert Kreischer machine, but it's the confused breakfast gang.
Hey, all right.
People would watch it. If anything, people and I would watch it.
It's true.
I'd watch it.
Actually, Iowa's are like what is it? Our 72nd least listened to or something like that. People don't know about us in Iowa.
Yeah. No. You talk about your audience.
Yeah.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
That's sad, man.
It's whatever.
But I mean, I guess it's not sad because you're succeeding and you're obviously, you're growing past that. But like at the same time, people in Iowa should know who you guys are. You've had Bert Kreischer through here.
Well, people should know that you're doing the show. People should know that Upload.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir there, man.
Yeah. People should know, it's hard to get out there, and this
really
kind of what people don't want to do anything. People don't want to do shit.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you. I maybe you're sick about talking about it at this point, but like, you guys all went on Bert Kreischer's show, and he came on your guys' show. What was that whole experience like? What was it like talking to him, meeting him, all that?
It was crazy. It's, it was just super surreal to see him. It started out of him just seeing one of our TikToks, and he showed one of his guests, like, this is what I'm into lately. And we got a clip of that, and people were just messaging us right as the episode was airing, being like, you guys were just talked about, or Bert Kreischer just talked about you for like 20 minutes on his show. I'm like, what? And to be honest, at the time, I'm like, I didn't even really listen to Bert Kreischer all that much. Cat's out of the bag. Sorry, Bert. If you didn't. But I definitely, like, my dad would always talk about him and talk about the Machine story and everything. And so, sad to say, but after he mentioned us, I'm like, oh, what is this character all about? And then, yeah, we, what happened? We were in Top Gun Maverick watching that. And I got out, and we had a message from him on our Instagram being like, where are you guys based out of? I'm like, is this real? And message back and be like, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And he's like, if you guys are ever in LA, come. I want you. I think what he said, it was, quote, I want you hard on my show. Just the most Bert way. Just the most Bert thing.
Did he
to say.
hand you all some Viagra?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, when we got there, he's like, "Here's this. Take one of these."
I'll split one with you.
Yeah. But yeah, we was like, we're just gonna go, and we set a date and arrived in Sherman Oaks at our hotel, and just every minute knowing that it was probably just not gonna happen. Just like this is gonna be the big thing for us, and it's probably used to be like, I'm busy, I can't. I'm sorry, fellas. And it almost happened, but luckily we made it work, and it was great. I mean, it was super surreal. After it was kind of like this. After I just met you, it was we just sat down, and I feel like I've known you for at least a couple days. I mean, I'm sure after another hour or so, we're going to feel like we've known each other for a while. But it was kind of like that. Like he's just like a very warm, welcoming dude. And then after a while, we were talking about movies, and that's what gets me talking. And so, that's easy. And then when we left, we were just like kind of in like a hazy state of like, did that just happen? And then the episode came out. We got a lot more reaction from that, and we knew he was coming to town, so we kind of kept an eye on it and just messaged him, came in here. That's why we built this whole set. And yeah, I mean, he's it's weird to say, and maybe he might not agree, but I feel like we're friends. I feel like we're just buddies, and like when I see him, it'll just be like, oh, hey man,
that's awesome.
Like you and I, or like Logan and I,
That's awesome.
It's just extremely surreal, and like he's done a lot for us just by mentioning us. It's nuts.
How much of a boost to your confidence has that been? Like, do you feel like the top dog now, or do you kind of just still feel like same old Sean? Or
I mean, I still feel like same old Sean. It's nice having that. Obviously, like it's nice having. It's nice making money from this. It's nice having people like that recognize it. It's nice coming on to shows like this and talking about myself. Everyone who doesn't like talking about themselves. But yeah, I always try to, in my mind, be like, you're just still a nerd in your basement watching Tarantino movies, and watching the special features, and because I still do feel like that when if I'm talking to like one of my friends who doesn't watch as many movies as me, I'm like, did you know about this? And they're like, I don't care. I still feel like that, but all the other stuff is nice, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of a cool thing about like, being an Iowan and like kind of having something like that happen to you. Is like, I feel like somebody that is from this area is going to have that reaction more likely than like if someone in LA, got on the Bert Kreischer show, they'd be going to the mountains probably, but like, there's something about when you live, like, We had Scott Sipker on the podcast recently. He's the guy who did Iowa Nice.
Oh,
back in the
okay.
day, if you know about that. But he talked about like how he doesn't feel like a celebrity. He still feels like the same guy, and yeah, you just you do your thing, you do your big thing, but at the end of the day you come back and you're still amongst people in Sea Rapids or Des Moines or whatever. You're not like high rolling in a limo or whatever.
Yeah.
You're still I don't know. I think there's something really special about that.
I don't know how, and Mike's better at this than I think AJ and I, but when we're like trying to sell the show to somebody, like or like when we're out in public and someone's like, "You're from Confused Breakfast," I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot of fun." I don't know. Like, I'm just like, yeah, yes, I am. I don't. It's hard for me to like talk about the show in this more grand way.
Sure.
It's just never been a part of me to do that. I don't know, but I just hope people like it. I just hope people, and that's all I care about.
Well, hey, I like it. And
Thanks, man.
I'm sure other people do. Well, we know other people do, right? I mean, you guys are. Well, I don't know what it is now, but at one point you were like one of the top ranked movie podcasts on iTunes, right?
We always float in the top 5 here and there.
That's crazy, man.
In Australia, we're like 3 or something, and so we're always like top 5 in Australia. So I guess we have to go there. And that's the other thing too. Is one of our goals is to just do more live shows and maybe take this on tour.
Cool. Yeah, I saw you did one. What was it? What was the movie called again? The one with
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I had never actually seen that movie, but I did see a little bit of that. I thought that was really fun. You guys taking that to a live audience. That was kind of I guess what was that like? Because I'm sure that was kind of like a different beast in a way, right? Because we have the studio over here back to us. Like you guys are kind of in your own little world talking, and then bringing that out to an audience. I don't know. Were there did that go well? Were there challenges? Like I don't know what was that experience like for you?
It was great. We did it at Cedar Ridge Distillery, which is beautiful, and I don't know, had maybe 40, 50 people fill the room or something, and modest. Yeah. But and people came out of town, and that was crazy.
That's crazy.
People from Philadelphia.
Wow.
Shout out David. But honestly, it's been the goal to do that for me since day one. I don't consider myself a comedian. I don't consider us like we're the end all be all funny show, but I do think that we are a comedy show on top of being a movie reviewer show.
I agree. Yeah.
And so I think stage, we're all good on stages. Like we've been performing since we were in high school in bands and shit, and so we're good there. Honestly, it's different in the way that if I tell a joke on the show, maybe they don't get it, but the audience will, but I can't hear them react to it. So I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, you stick your guns.
If it seems like it falls on deaf ears, but in a live, obviously a live performance, I guess it would be like reaction right away.
Sure.
And that gives you a little gravitas, gives you a little pep in your step. So it's different that way, but I think I prefer it. I'm not sure what to do with like the episode, like if we did ever take it on tour, and if we like the thing is like maybe do 3 movies, have them prepared, and do one night, do one the other night, and stuff like that. Still gotta iron those kinks out, but
yeah, well, that's kind of an interesting element of your show, right? Is like you have the show, but there's also like I'm not gonna lie, there are episodes that I've intentionally skipped from your show because I haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
yet.
good, yeah.
Like it's almost like a companion to the movie, and I like that. But like I don't know, is there a way maybe you could like have you like viewed the show or viewed the movie beforehand and then do like a reactionary? Like I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but
like a reaction video, like
you have your live audience, you play the movie, and then you do I don't know, is that something that's ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crossed my mind to do like a screening of the movie, and then but have our jokes prepared beforehand,
Yeah.
But I haven't thought about it, just like screening it and then going and doing it. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you guys are doing, it's great. It's working. Like you.
No, it's interesting.
You guys rock it. What so you've probably already mentioned this on your podcast, but like what would you say is like, you and Mikey were ranking through your movies. What's like your favorite movie? Like what I don't know, like when that list, like what's like your top? Is it Dazed and Confused? Like what's your
That we've done?
Yeah.
Ranking wise, it's definitely Dazed and Confused. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
Not a lot can beat it. But I was thinking today too, I'm like, Sandlot's probably top 5. But it's probably not on the website or like not in our rankings or anything. The Shining.
Such a good movie.
The Thing, I think, is up there.
Thing's great, yeah.
Big Lebowski. Those kinds of movies we've done. But yeah, movies like Terminator 2, I think, is definitely
So good.
one of my favorite movies of all time. But then, like, if you want to movies that we haven't done and maybe won't do, I love The Lighthouse.
Such a good movie. I watched that movie in the middle of my divorce.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was actually really funny. So I watched the first half of the movie. My divorce got finalized. I went and got a dog, and then I came back and finished the movie.
Like,
it was a really
did
bizarre...
you have it planned to get this
No,
dog?
no. Well, I had been planning it for a little bit, and then that happened, and then I just decided, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm out of this shitty marriage. I'm going to go get myself a fucking dog.
I was just like, man, Coleman, that is impulsive. We're getting a divorce. I'll be right back. Just go get a little terrier for yourself.
No, we've been separated for a few months already, gotcha. But yeah, I mean, shit, you sound like my therapist.
I'm sorry, I'm just joshing you.
No, you're fine. Hey, it's that Irish in me, I got that Irish impulsive, like, I'm just gonna do it.
What kind of dog was it?
What was that?
What kind of dog was it?
I still have its Australian Shepherd mix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his name's Duke.
Duke.
Yeah,
helped you get through it.
Yeah. It was not to get into my marriage too much, but it was kind of one of those things where like we had exhausted it so much that I was actually pretty clean. Like that was 3 years ago. I don't even think about her anymore.
Sure.
I mean, you get to those marriages where you're both at the end. Like when someone, like, when one person says I'm done and the other person's like, yeah, I am too. That's when it's like, yep. This is a good thing to do then,
Yeah, I guess I'm glad that I haven't been married yet, but I've definitely experienced that sort of like, it's over, right?
Yeah.
But it's over.
Yeah.
We're done, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's eventually just a point where, the other person just isn't that for you. It's not like, my situation was maybe a little different. She was a little, she had BBD and she was crazy and all that bullshit. But, there are just some people who are just sick of it. Like it's not even that they're a bad person. They're just like, I like you as a person, but this just isn't. And that just happens.
Yeah.
This got really serious really quick.
It's all good. Duke, man. Let's talk more about Duke. But then you finish The Lighthouse and you're like, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna be single for a while.
Yeah, I'm not getting my heart eaten out by fucking seagulls.
There you go.
It's it's all good. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I didn't watch the Northman. I didn't finish that. That was kind of weird. Did you watch that one?
I did. I was super excited for it. I have a movie night crew we do on Fridays. Just get together and do watch a movie. And got all them together. We bought like 2 rows of seats in the theater, and I think it's maybe his least best movie.
But just from what I saw, I would agree.
Yeah. I think all of his movies are masterpieces.
Yeah.
Which, including The Northman, is just his lesser masterpiece.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it was a little more conventional, which isn't bad, but
Definitely.
like one of the things that made him stand out as a director was like, he's doing The Lighthouse and like 1 by 1 black and white.
Right.
And, at that time, that was still a really new idea. And then like he had the Vivitch, which is like just bizarre language that like that movie takes like 2 or 3 times to really understand what the fuck's even going on. Cause you're like, what they even say? Like, I've put subtitles for this motherfucker,
As a funny story of me watching The Witch, my buddy and I, so film scene in Iowa City. Do you know what that theater is?
Not sure. No.
It's my favorite theater in the entire world, maybe next to Music Box in Chicago. But they do like midnight screenings of like underground movies, like Pit and the Pendulum or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And they were showing The Room by Tommy Wiseau. And it's the first time him and I had ever seen it. We're going to see The Room tonight. And we get there, and it's obviously a crowd movie. Like, people are throwing spoons at the screen and shit. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, we were like coming back to town, and we're like going to go see The Witch. So it was like the best double feature. It's like, this is what cinema can be, and this is what cinema should be. And I'll let you decipher which one I'm talking about.
That's funny. I have a crazy story about The Room, actually. So Tommy Wiseau, that's how you say his name, right?
He's looking at us right over there.
Oh,
sorry, audience, you can't
is he
see
on
him.
Was he an action figure?
That black and white photo on the edge of the
by the
map.
How did I not see that? Oh my God. Okay, well, I have a story you're gonna love. So
Awesome.
I saw this chick for a little bit. We were kind of friends with benefits type of situation.
Nice.
I showed her 2 movies while she stayed over. Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage and The Room with Tommy Wiseau.
What a double feature.
I know, right? So she stays with me for a little bit, goes back to Austin where she lived. She goes to the showing of The Room. So I've shown her this movie, and then she goes to see it again. And Tommy Wiseau is at the movie. Gets crazier. So she ends up meeting Tommy Wiseau after the show. They end up partying, all that. They're drinking, all that. She texts me in the morning at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I just had a threesome with Tommy and his co-star.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not shitting you. So I am Eskimo Brothers with Tommy Wiseau.
I think that's the greatest story I've ever heard. That's fucking awesome, dude. And she's like, anyway, I'm going to be back in town. You want to hook up again?
We did hook up again one more time,
There you
believe
go.
it or not. But, it was like, I remember at the time, I was just upset about it. Like, I wasn't realizing at the time that, like, I'm Eskimo Brothers with Tommy Wiseau. I was just like, she had a threesome. That was my reaction.
Holy shit, man.
But okay, so then,
And you didn't marry that one.
I did. God, no. Damn it. But here, talking about marriage with this one, another funny counteract to this. So, Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage. Have you seen it?
I love
Ridiculous, crazy movie. She ends up meeting this. I think now they're trans, but at the time they were a man. Ends up meeting this person, and they're seeing each other, all that, and then her boyfriend ends up orchestrating a thing where they go to I don't remember which movie, but it was a movie with Nicolas Cage in it. And they actually orchestrate Nicolas Cage to be the person to help propose the boyfriend to this chick.
Damn.
So like I'm looking at this woman, 2 huge events in her life. Motherfucker, you would not be anywhere you're at without this motherfucker right here. If it wasn't for that week laying on the ground naked watching fucking B movies, this woman would not be anywhere where she is.
You
today.
showed her The Room and showed her Vampire's Kiss. She's like,
And her life was changed forever.
I feel like that's what happens when you watch those movies. It's just,
Has to be those
incremental.
two. Yeah.
I just wanted to be a vampire and knew that I could maybe not make a better movie than Tommy Wiseau. That's what happened to me.
That taught me how the alphabet, that movie, actually.
A, B, C, D.
It's in the fucking file.
I think it's his one of his top 5 movies of all, like top 5 performances. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, and it's so like people don't know about it. I feel like you tell people about Vampire's Kiss, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the greatest fucking Nick Cage movie like ever created." It's so funny.
Up until recently, it was his favorite performance he did.
Oh really?
Yeah, and Pig, Pig, I guess super passed it.
I fell asleep during that movie.
You did? I haven't watched it yet. We're doing May Uncaged with our friends and I doing the movie night thing.
Oh, okay.
And we're watching that soon.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
What do you think about Nicolas Cage? Do you think he is a great actor who's misunderstood? Do you think he sucks? I don't know. What's your thought
I
on
think he is his generation's, because I don't think he's our generation's best actor. I think what he does, I think he's always doing something unique in every one of his performances. I think he finds something, even if it's kind of like a blandish movie or like a Hollywood Disney movie like National Treasure. I still think he finds a way to make it Cage. and I love it. I really truly think, like, even Renfield, I don't know if you saw that.
I did not yet. No,
He's the best part of it. Obviously, I mean, Nicholas Holt's great, and the movie's okay, but it wouldn't be good if he wasn't in it. Like, he's amazing in it. Yeah, man. I think that the choices he makes is just like, I'm making a choice, and the director's just got to go with it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's Cage.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think at one point he was a great actor. I mean, okay, is he a bad actor? No. Like technically he's good. He knows his shit. It's debatable, right? Because like it's hard to tell. It's one of those case studies where it's like it's really hard to tell whether he's genuinely acting like that because he's acting like that. I feel like I would have to watch him on a podcast or something. I feel like if I watched him for 2 hours on a podcast to analyze who he was as a person, like I would have a better understanding of like how good of an actor he actually is or not. But like when it's weird because when you put that front up in every movie, it would lead you to believe that A, they're either doing this intentionally every time, or B, they're a shitty actor and this is all they know how to do.
True.
I don't know. I feel like that would have to be what would determine that for me.
How do you feel about Keanu Reeves then? Because I feel like you can kind of relate Nicolas Cage's acting with Keanu Reeves, because sometimes I'm watching a movie, I'm like, is he bad? Is he? I don't even know. Is he? No, I like him though. But we all like him as a person. You know, we like what he represents. You know, so I think that takes over too.
You know, I think it's kind of like with Paul Rudd. Like every time you see Paul Rudd in a movie, you know he's going to be Paul Rudd, right?
Okay.
Like, and I think it's the same with Keanu Reeves. I think it's the same with Nicolas Cage. Does that make him a bad actor? No. Does it make him a great actor? Also, no. You look at like, I don't know, like Jack Nicholson. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I actually saw a really interesting analysis on once. It was like talking about how he acts with anger and like how like he exhibits that same emotion throughout most of his films, but he does it differently. Like there's a movie like about Schmidt where he's like retired and angry about everything going on in his life. And then there's a movie like, like The Shining where he's chopping down Dory 7 times and he's wild, you know?
Mad at his wife.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. So I think like even as an actor, if you're required to act that way every time, like being able to take nuance and like apply that to the character, that to me exhibits more talent than someone like Paul Rudd who's just like, okay, I'm going to be Paul Rudd.
Sure.
I'm going to be Ant-Man. I'm going to be the guy whose, you know, wife is leaving him and I have a good anecdote for my friend. You know, whatever type of Paul Rudd role you can think of. You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. There's one role of Keanu Reeves that I would recommend that might change your mind a little bit. It's called Destination Wedding with Winona Ryder.
Not familiar with that one.
It's like a walking and talking kind of director of Days Confused, Richard Linklater kind of thing.
Okay.
Of his like movies that he did with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called. Before Midnight, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Kind of like walking and talking, long takes, a lot of dialogue, a lot of quick dialogue.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't make him a good actor, but it's definitely like, oh, it's something I haven't seen from Keanu. Other than, you know, like, well, compared to him doing just John Wick and shit like that. Sure. It's fun. I recommend it.
Okay. What was it called again? Sorry?
Destination Wedding.
Okay.
And it's really funny, too. It's a good story.
Okay. Yeah, you said Days of Confused is your favorite movie. I kind of want to, before we maybe wrap this up, like,
please.
I think Richard Linklater? I think he is a little overrated.
Yeah?
In my opinion. So, okay, like Boyhood. Boyhood's a phenomenal movie. Like
you do like Boyhood.
I do like Boyhood. But the reason I think that movie works is because he made a life movie that was actually a life movie, right? Like he actually filmed it over the course of 12 years and it had that. But when you like just make a life movie that's just like like you're writing a life movie, I don't know. There's something about it to me that just doesn't work. Like you get like you leave the movie feeling like maybe it was almost a little boring. But like that, and I get that because like that's life, right? Like life is boring. Like I understand what he's going for there, but I don't know. I'm a big believer in like like audience retention, like things like, I think when you have your 90, 100, 120 minutes, like you need to make the most of that, like every time. That's just my belief. And like, if you make a life movie, like you can have those moments, you can do those things, but like at the end of the day, you're kind of just making a movie about these are the two people and this is what they do. It's not necessarily something like, Pulp Fiction or The Godfather, where there's all these, plot arcs and character developments and things like that. It's more of like it's like a day in the life type of thing. And that's fine. But like, I don't think a day in the life movie holds to like Citizen Kane or The Godfather or something like that. That's just my opinion.
Sure. No, I respect that. He did like School of Rock.
Yeah, School of Rock was a very good movie.
So like that's what I like about him, is he will do these walking and talking, almost philosophical, almost waxing poetic, like jerking off poetic, almost really, almost
like a Terrence McKenna movie.
Yeah, exactly. But then he'll do like a School of Rock or like a kind of a mainstream movie, and then he also did a movie, another one with Jack Black called Bernie. Which is like
Bernie. Bernie was
crime.
really good. I forgot about Bernie.
Yeah, he
has done some good ones.
He's just this like journeyman director. Like I don't know what he's gonna do next. That's what I like about him. But yeah, I do get what you mean. That can be sort of like, because I know Boyhood is kind of maligned by people who are just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's growing up.
But that's such an like fuck that, because that's such an amazing technical feat. To use the same cameras, audio equipment, get the same actors to be on board with that the whole time, and to create something that is actually concise. I can't imagine how many deleted scenes there was from that fucking movie.
To maintain a tone throughout, what is it?
12 years.
12 years. As a director, you're making a movie over 12 years, you have to maintain like, okay, so this is what you were feeling 9 years ago when you were this young, know?
Yep.
And now you have to be feeling kind of the same thing, but a little bit more muted because you're in high school. It's like, whoa. That's ridiculous.
It is. And how it all just comes together like that.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not trying to throw too much shade on him. Like, anyone who's like, I will say this, anybody that's in media or directing, like the fact that you got there and that you're doing it, like that enough is like enough to, get an applause from. Like, I will never, go that far to say like, oh, you suck just because of this one role that you did that, I'm never going to be that kind of guy. Like the fact that you made it is impressive in itself. But, I think I quote Roger Ebers, criticizing film is important because film is important.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Like things that you look at, like historically, like how films have impacted culture and like, how people are informed about things. Like films have such a critical role in society. And like, so, when people criticize us for being like film pricks or whatever, like, you know what? Fuck them. It's important. Films are important. It's important to critique them. It's important to say, this is my standard. And because I feel like if you don't have that standard, that's when things start to just kind of get a little shitty. We see like, the Netflix shows that's just like 6 seasons of the same boring thing that nobody gives a fuck about. Like that's what happens when we stop critiquing things and we stop, having a standard for things.
I think you're 100% right. And one thing on the show too is I'm probably a little bit more lenient on movies that we do, more than the other two. I give a higher rating is what I'm saying. Just because I'm like, every movie's a fucking miracle, dude. Yeah. Like it took so long to get that shot, or it took like whatever trying to cast this guy. But also, when people are just like, okay, but the movie though, let's just take a step back. Like I know you feel for the filmmakers, so I totally get that. But I do think you are hitting something on the head where I also like to kind of push on the show where it's just like what you feel about a movie is important and makes a difference with what people think. Like if you're not as big a fan as Richard Linklater as I am, that's important. I think we can have a discussion then. Yes. There's room to talk. Yes. If you're just like, Richard Linklater's good, that's it. Like if we both thought that way,
that's that.
But yeah, one thing is like on, I think it was Son-in-Law when we did, or no, sorry, Encino Man. We read reviews on the show and someone was like, this movie changed my life. And I'm like, it's not the greatest movie ever made, but Encino Man changed someone's life. I love that. That makes me like the movie a lot more. I cherish that shit.
Yeah, they were also paranoid schizophrenic.
and a lot of time on the internet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. that is one of the reviews I just absolutely. That is such a garbage film. Oh my god. I had ex-girlfriends show me that, and she was laughing her ass off, and the whole time I'm like, this is literal shit. You could show me shit on a reel. Still, for 90 minutes, it would be better than what I've just seen.
If you haven't rewatched it in a while, rewatch it. And we liked Sean Astin's character when we first saw it.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit in that movie. You will think way differently. And then Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser, Oscar winner Brendan Fraser, are awesome.
Well, and that's another element I love about you guys' show, is that you actually do that. That you actually like say like, oh, this character's a piece of shit, and like because that's like going to like the essay type of movie review. Like nobody does that. Nobody says like, hey, he has a punchable face. Like I fucking love that. It's like it's kind of the things that everybody's saying, right? Like thinking they're like, yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. Like yes, somebody finally thought that this guy was a piece of shit. Yeah. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Fuck yeah. Sean Pryor, it's been a fucking pleasure, man.
Great to meet you, buddy.
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. Obviously you're part of the Confused Breakfast, but where can people find that? And what else do you, I mean, we didn't really get into it, but do you do music and
Yeah, I do music. You can find Confused Breakfast anywhere, confusedbreakfast.com. It's probably the best place. You can get all of our links, but you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Don't really do Twitter because it's a cesspool. And then, you can find my band, Dream Thief, Dream Thief IA on Instagram. Just look Dream Thief up. We're on Spotify, iTunes, and all that fun stuff.
Hell yeah.
That's the stuff I'm doing.
Sean, it's been a pleasure, man. I seriously love you guys' show. Keep rocking, keep killing. You're killing it in the Iowa scene. Well, I guess maybe not the Iowa scene, but you're killing it in the world, man. Fuck Iowa. You're killing it in the world, right? All right, guys. Every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. You know what's up. We're on everything. Go find us. We also have a website, McAllister's.com. We also have a Patreon where you can find exclusive content there, extra episodes, stuff like that. So, yeah, if you like what you do, go check that out. All right, buddy. Have a good night, and thanks again to Upload Media Group for hosting us for these episodes.
Hell yeah.
All right. Peace, guys.